Hey guys, it's GrizzzlyGoat here, and today I'm excited to bring you the first installment of our new series, Counters and Collaborations. In our first episode, we'll be starting in order with Mute. But just before we get started, I want to remind any new viewers of this series that if you have not watched the introduction to this series explaining the reasoning for the choices I've made in these diagrams, I highly recommend and I ask that you watch that video first so you can understand my thought process behind these choices. Now that I got that important message out of the way, let's get started. Starting off with our hard direct counters, we have drones, breach charges, thermite, twitch, fuse, and Habana. When picking Mute, your top priorities are to jam walls from being hard breached, protect your teammates from drones, and stop anything from being detonated on those window barricades. Mute pairs very well with some operators on defense that we'll get to later. Now, getting into our hard indirect counters, we have immunities to Lion and Dokkaebi. If you aren't aware, when you're in the radius of a Mute jammer, you are immune to Lion and Dokkaebi. Now, this isn't the most practical counter for these operators, especially noting that the jamming radius is only about 2 meters long, but it is something to look out for if you happen to be near one of these jammers. I mean, you could run a straight line, throw an entire scan undetected, but I doubt you'll see anyone doing this anytime soon. We have one more batch of hard indirect counters in the forms of jamming Iana's Gemini Replicator and Blitz's Shield. But, of course, when picking Mute, this isn't the main priority that most people have when picking him. But I guess if you're the run of death coming down the hallway, you could always place yourself on the other side of a jammer.
Last operator standing.
Lastly, we have one more operator with a soft indirect counter, Jackal. When Jackal starts to encroach into defender territory, if near the radius of a Mute jammer, he'll be unable to scan enemy footprints, and he'll become progressively more blind if he leaves the scanning visor on. Moving on to our collaborations, Mute does an amazing job protecting Mirror and Castle's gadgets. Mute protects Mirror from Habana and Twitch, and Mute protects Castle from pretty much everything and everyone that has a filled red line leading into them. Using Mute on Castle windows is a very good combination to prevent giving Fuse free protection and an easy place for him to boom spam. Having these doors blocked also makes it more difficult for drones to jump around the radius of the jammer, since they're forced to roll under the opening under the barricade. And lastly, since attackers can't use remote charges in jammed areas, the defense will have to resort to other operators to take care of the job. Or they could just do it the old-fashioned way.
Op 4 eliminated all friendly.
Another collaboration that is important to know is how to efficiently use Bandit, Kaid, and Mozzie's gadgets together. Bandit is most efficient when tricking those chokehold high traffic walls, while Kaid's niche is being able to use his unique ability to shock any hatch he desires. And Mozzie completely denying drones from entering, or they risk the chance of being used against themselves. Where Mute fits into these four horsemen of the Deny Apocalypse is that he can flex between the lesser of important walls and drone holes, doorways, and windows. So make sure to allocate your resources as effectively as possible when using these operators together, because it can be devastating for the attacking team. Finalizing our direct collaborations, we have Goyo and the Deployable Shield. These gadgets are excellent for protecting Mute jammers when the necessary cover isn't available. Diving into the first of our many indirect collaborations we have here, we have Jaeger and Y, which protect Mute jammers from being blown up by explosives, or on a rare occasion, if you're playing Silly Willies, Thatcher's EMP as well. When surplus jammers are available, Mute is very helpful for roamers when jamming off those main staircases and hallways, making it much more difficult for the offense to find those sneaky bastards. Mute can also be a great indirect aid when trap ops are on your team, preventing drones from spotting or even destroying traps in sight. I had to keep all of it serious, so yes, while the odds are quite minimal, Tachanka can benefit from Mute on your team. Whether that's to hide his identity or his turret location, this is only applied when he doesn't shoot or yell really loudly for no reason.
LMG, mounted and loaded!
And lastly, we have Twitch protection from Maestro and deployables. This will only help if these gadgets are placed inside of sight or near a Mute jammer. Well guys, that's all I have for this episode of Counters and Collaborations. This is the first episode of many. Do you believe I missed anything? Please leave anything you have to say in the comments below. Thank you so much for watching, and see you next episode.